My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey everybody, today our special guest zooming in all the way from Killeen, Texas, which for those of us that don't know is about 45 minutes outside of Austin. We have a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur. That's the right word. That is definitely the right word for this lady. She is a real estate entrepreneur. She's done a lot in the real estate field, all the way from flipping houses, all the way from helping people buy and sell houses through a realtor business, getting into short sales, starting to get into development deals. She is a very, very busy lady, and she has a real passion for helping people have a second chance at home ownership. So that's what we're going to dive into today. So Avriel, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. So I saw in your bio 20 years in the Air Force before you got into real estate. That's a whole career. And then you got into real estate. So when did you jump into the real estate game?
So I retired in 2016, and then I took a little break for about 6 months.
I don't blame you.
And then I started in real estate shortly after. So I wanted to decompress a little bit after the military, and then I jumped into real estate.
I would imagine. So your first foray into real estate, was it as a realtor or as an investor?
It was an investor.
Okay,
So I
cool.
was on the investor side for 7.5 years before I became an agent.
7.5 years. So that's until relatively recently then. So the
Absolutely.
realtor thing's kind of new. Okay.
Yes.
Very cool. What kind of real estate investing did you jump into, and how and why did you decide to start a second career as a real estate entrepreneur?
So I started my second career as a real estate entrepreneur because I seen my uncle, which was a father figure to me, take care of our family sometime using real estate. So I became intrigued with real estate,
That what that rich uncle was doing with all that real estate, huh?
yes, absolutely.
Nice.
So I got intrigued, and then I said, after I retired, I said, I am going to start in real estate. And he said, okay. And so after my retirement, 6 months after my retirement, we tragically lost him. So found myself on a whirlwind, like, how am I going to figure this out? Because the person that was supposed to teach me is now gone.
So
So
did you end up kind of taking over his business?
I did not take over his
No.
business. My cousin
Yeah, that makes sense.
ended up taking over, which was the executor of the estate. So she ended up taking over and selling everything that he had in his portfolio instead of keeping it in the family.
Oh no. Okay, so then you had to figure things out from scratch. What kind of strategy did you start off with? Did you start right out with flipping?
I did start right out with flipping.
Okay.
I'm a really, really spiritual person. So I prayed and I said, God, I said, you know what my heart is, right? And so I did 20 years in the military, and I did not want to go to a job. And I said, my dream has always been an entrepreneur. After seeing my uncle do this, I said, my dream is to be an entrepreneur. You know my heart. So I want you to lead me in the direction.
Yeah.
So on Facebook, scrolling one day, and I seen someone that was doing fixing and flipping. So I've always wanted to build. I've always wanted to turn ugly things into a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And so reached out to this individual, and lo and behold, he was like, yeah, I'll teach you how to fix and flip. And so that's how my journey started with fixing and flipping.
Now was this guy or gal, were they a coach, or were
They
they
were.
just they were okay, very
They
good.
were,
Got
yeah.
it. So you jumped into that. What, just out of curiosity, what real estate investing strategy did your uncle do?
He did Airbnb, he did
Okay.
fix and flip, and he also did buy and hold.
Yeah.
So he had a couple different strategies going. I've always been interested in the, taking a hammer, breaking things up, and
Yeah.
then rebuilding them. So I wanted to stick on the construction side of the business because I love the construction side of the business. So I wanted to stay on that side of the business. So that's why I stuck with fix and flip.
Yeah, very, very cool. So now we're talking a little bit before we started the recording that you're starting to transition. You're still doing some fix and flips,
Mhm.
But it sounds like the market's changed a little bit, and now you're seeing more opportunities in, was it short sales? Is that correct?
Short
So,
sales
so
before
for
foreclosure.
folks that aren't familiar with short sales, I mean, we heard a lot about them a few years ago. So
Mhm.
are they starting to rear their well, in your case, good head, but in the bank's case, ugly head again. Are those starting to become more common?
They are. So
Yeah.
in different areas right now, as of yesterday, we have a total of 6.5 million people that are not paying a mortgage right now. A lot of those people are upside down in their mortgage. So when they purchased a home, when the market was really up, when they fell behind, now the home ownership and the money that is actually owed to it, the houses are not valuing out like they were supposed to. So what we're seeing now is that there is um a shortage, not a shortage, but there are homes that are actually going to be put up for short sale. So I'm working with asset managers, I'm working with homeowners in order to actually save their homes if we possibly can, so they don't have a foreclosure on their credit. It's a bad thing for the banks because we're asking the bank to take a shortage
Mhm.
on this loan. And some of the banks are like, no, we're not going to take a shortage on it. We're going to sit in on this, and then we're probably just going to end up foreclosing, right? So they'll rather do a foreclosure than a short sale because the moratorium just ended in November. So most of these banks, they want all of their money. They're not
Mhm.
showing any mercy right now. So yes, short sales are slowly coming back, but they're
Yeah.
definitely picking up in certain areas because we have so
Very,
many
very
people that are not
interesting.
paying mortgage.
Yeah, so I would imagine that some of those folks, life happened, they got behind, plus maybe interest rates spiked for them. I don't know if they're on variable rate mortgages, that sort of thing. So now they're having to come out of pocket twice as much as they did years ago to pay for their mortgage.
Yes.
So they stop paying. So that starts accruing and accruing and accruing. Between that and penalties, it doesn't take very long for the amount they owe to exceed what the property's worth now. Now, have property values in general decreased quite a bit in those areas?
Well, the property value didn't decrease. It's the amount of arrears that they have, plus the attorney fees and all of the excess.
Interest,
Yes,
interest on
it's just
interest and attorney fees. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Plus,
so
they probably got in for 5% down kind of thing, right? Yeah.
absolutely. And so
Yeah.
now, even looking at some of those, we're trying to do some loan modifications. For those of you that don't know what loan modification is, we're just asking the bank to loan to modify their loans that they are actually in. So some of them are not even qualifying for a loan mod either. So the other thing that we could possibly do is just sell it to an investor. So times are getting tough for individuals, and for me, my passion is to give people another chance at home ownership. Although the first time may have not worked for you, or even the second time may not work with you, life happened. But
Mhm.
my thing is that I think everyone deserves a second, third, or fourth chance at home ownership. And so that is my goal. You don't have to lose your home, and you don't have to feel like you're by yourself in this situation, because there's so many other opportunities for us to actually help you out, but there's no reason for you to be embarrassed. And if we don't know, we can't actually help you out.
So, as a business model, Avriel, this is, I mean, it's a wonderful service that you're offering people. How do you get compensated as a real estate entrepreneur for doing these kind of deals?
So when it comes to the short sale, for me, I'm not trying to capitalize on people that are going through a hardship, right? There are other ways that I make money. I do coaching. I also do fix and flip, right? And so if there's a short sale, I'm selling the home, so I get compensated that way.
Okay, so you get a
So
commission there. Yeah.
yeah, so I get a commission on the agent side there. For
Yeah.
those that we normally do loan modifications for, we don't do compensation for those. So I always tell people that it's not all about the money, it's helping people stay in their homes if we can actually help them stay in their homes and keep foreclosure off of their credit. That is
Mm.
my whole entire goal, is to keep you from going into foreclosure.
Plus, I guess if they get the loan modification, gives them a little bit of breathing room, and they could put the house on the market if they just realize it's too much for
Too
them to
much.
handle. And
Yes.
then who are they going to go to? The person that
Yeah,
helped them out, right? That just makes
absolutely.
sense. So yeah,
Yes.
that's doing well by doing good. That I like that whole model.
Yes.
Interesting, interesting, interesting. So you are doing some flips on the side. What have you seen with the local market as far as flips and whatnot? Is it as lucrative as it used to be, or why are you doing fewer of them?
So the market has shifted. So,
Yeah.
you know, when the market shifts, you have to shift with the market. So, um, they're just the price of actually getting a flip now has increased drastically. Even the products to actually flip now, the construction side of the business, general contractors have went up on their prices, subs have went up on their prices, and even the material now is kind of expensive. So what while we're doing fewer flips is that the opportunities are not as present as they were before, right? So, but if
Mhm.
we have an opportunity, we'll actually take that opportunity. Again, I work with some asset managers. So when those opportunities present themselves, like with REOs, with the bank-owned properties, those are assets that went up for foreclosure. They didn't sell. And so now they're sitting on the bank's books. And so they've been on the bank's book for a little while. So the bank is like, listen, we want this off. We're not in the business of holding assets.
Mhm.
We want the money. And so now we can negotiate and we can get deals that way through asset managers. So that is the
Yeah,
way that I
that's the
really
short sale, right? That's what that is, right?
no,
They're
so this is the REO side of the business. So
okay.
these are real estate owned properties from the
Mhm.
bank. And so they're not short sales. They're just they
They own
went
them
up.
outright. They foreclosed on it. It's theirs now.
Yes.
They want to get rid of it.
Yes.
If they hold it and if they hold it as an asset, they can, it affects how much they can borrow, right? So they got to
Yes.
get that off the books to
Yes.
free up the cash, plus to be able to qualify for doing more loans, right? Which is
Absolutely. Yes.
interesting stuff. Now, Avriel, relatively recently, within the last couple of years, you became a realtor, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yes.
Why did you decide to add that on to your already busy life? What was the strategic reasoning behind that?
So at the time we were doing a lot of flips. And so I told myself that, hey, why not get the commission off of the flips that we were actually
Yeah.
doing? So just let me go get my license. I also wanted to work directly with the asset managers because as you and I both know, when someone is in the middle, right? So you have to lean on them to bring information back to you. And so for me, if I'm ready to rock and roll, I want to be able to just move at a fast pace. And so for me, I said it would just be beneficial for me to actually get my license. That way I can deal directly with the asset managers and I can sell my own properties. So that was the reason
Smart.
that I went and got my
No, that's smart.
license.
So yeah, so you're not really too worried about doing what most realtors are trying to do, which is get listings and all that kind of. You're just
No,
focused on this for selling your own properties. Smart.
yes,
Yeah, and finding them too.
yes.
Right? I mean, yeah, that's really good. Really, really good. Yeah, you're hitting it hard there, April. So what have been some of your major lessons that you've learned along this path, going from the Air Force, 20-year career in that, jumping into real estate investing, doing the flips, become a realtor. Now you're doing the short sales. Now you're helping homeowners, stave off foreclosure, hopefully. What have been some of your big takeaways over the last few years with
So
this
I
new
think
career?
one of the biggest takeaways is just be careful who you actually partner with. So
So what do you mean by that?
so I had a bad partner about 3 years ago.
Business
It's
partner, like
a
somebody in
business
your real
partner.
estate. Got it.
Yes. So in a flip, and it was very ugly, right? And so for me, I learned a lesson that you can't always depend on someone to give you their true representative when they show up with you. You have to dig to get that true representative. And so when money gets involved, you see the true character of an individual. Money got involved. I seen the true character of the individual. We were able to get out of the flip and move on in several relationships, but it was very tough through that process because they were money hungry. They were trying to impress a fiance and making it seem like they were more than they really were. So I think for me, the the lesson there was you have to make sure you get to know the true representative and not the fake one that they try to, put up here to make it seem like that they're really cool and they want you to actually be good too inside of the transaction. So
Yeah, kind of sounds like dating too.
yes, very true.
Yeah, yeah. So was it, without getting into too much details, was it your partner was supposed to be the boots on the ground person and you
Absolutely.
were doing, yeah, so they're
Yes.
supposed to either do the work themselves or oversee
Yeah.
the renovations and whatnot.
Yes.
And
They
they
were
really didn't.
supposed to manage the construction side of the business while I go out and get more business. So they
Mhm.
were supposed to be managing the construction side of the business. And what happened was I started seeing money being misused or misallocated.
Siphoned off.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I raised that flag up and I was like, hey, what's going on? We need to have, we need to have a meeting because I seen that there was an invoice paid for more than what we had agreed to. So I need to find out. So after talking to that subcontractor, the subcontractor's like, no, I can get all of that money. I only got half of that. So that was my number one red flag was money was missing. They were trying to appease a fiance thinking that, making his fiance think that, hey, I'm out here and I have a lot of money. And he was stealing from the
A lot
money
of your
that
money.
the investors have
Oh, a
brought
lot
in.
of yeah.
My
Yeah.
private investors have brought in. So
Oh
yeah,
no.
we had a problem there. So
You most definitely did. So I'm glad you were able to extricate yourself from that.
absolutely.
Um, hopefully, when you found that out, you're able to take control of the bank accounts, and buddy boy there no longer had any access. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
So just out of curiosity, did that after you found him out, did he just kind of disappear and do not? Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did.
That's,
He
yeah.
did. After assets were gone, it was like, like I say, we severed ties. I told my attorney we need to dissolve that entity.
Yeah.
And we needed just to go our separate ways. And so there was no more communication.
Mhm.
But, I told him that I was very disappointed
Oh, no
because
doubt.
this could have been a long lasting, because for me, I build long lasting relationships. I don't want to do one or two deals with you. I want to do a lot of deals with you. We can all make money. There's so much money to be made out here. You don't have to steal from anyone.
It's amazing how short-sighted some people are.
Absolutely.
It's just what's ever right in front of them right now. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm glad you got out of that, I won't say unscathed, but you got out of that a lot better than it could have gone. So good on you there. And you
Absolutely.
found it out fast. That's way better than if his true colors had to come out 6, 12 months down the road kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, Avriel, this has been a really, really good conversation. I appreciate your insights. I want to congratulate you on transitioning from, what I would imagine would be a very structured profession. It's
Mhm.
the military, for crying out loud, like hierarchies and the whole thing, to becoming self-employed, where you are your own boss. You did that in spite of losing the guy that was going to be your mentor and help you get started with this. You found you found your path, you found a different way, and you made it happen. And your flexibility, shifting markets call for shifting strategies, and then tying in becoming a realtor to really maximize the effect on things. That's all very, very smart stuff. So I wish you great continued success. And if people want to find out more about you and connect with you, where can they go?
So on all social media platforms, Avriel DuVerney. That's where I'm at on all social media platforms.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you very much. And everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you on the next episode. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.